Hello fellows, how are you doing? It's Rami. Such a beautiful day today. I've been going out, walking around, walking in the sun. It's been such a beautiful day. So today's topic is gonna be about criticism. It's something that I've never talked about before. And basically in this video I'm gonna be talking about how I dealt with criticism years ago and the difference. It's kind of a comparison in this video. So it's basically gonna be me talking about my story, comparing how I used to deal with it years ago and how I'm dealing with it nowadays. And you're gonna see the big difference between how I dealt with it years ago and how I'm dealing with it nowadays. So, in today's video, there is much to say, I think so. So, I'm gonna be saying much, and probably I'm gonna dry up. My throat is gonna sore because of talking. And just a bit of a joke. My throat never sores no matter how much I talk. So criticism. So years ago I got criticized by a lot of people and it damaged me. It damaged my heart. It broke me down. It caused me a lot of paranoia. It caused me a lot of anger. It caused me a lot of shame. But nowadays it's completely different from how it used to be years ago. Nowadays I don't take it too personally. I don't take it for granted. And some people criticize you, they've got good intentions behind it. So it's not always a bad thing to be criticized. You don't have to take it personally. It only becomes bad when you take it too personal and when you start taking the words of the other person criticizing you for granted and you start thinking bad things about yourself and you start thinking, yeah, he's right. He said that to me, he told me that I'm stupid. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I'm like that. That's how I am. That's how it's always been. When you just give yourself these kind of affirmations, it becomes true. It becomes criticism. So it becomes destructive criticism. And now I'm gonna explain to you the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Destructive criticism is meant to hurt you. Is meant to make you think less of yourself. It's meant to make you not trust yourself. It's meant to make you feel awful, feel terrible basically. That's how destructive criticism is meant to be. On the flip side, I'm gonna explain to you what how constructive criticism is completely different from destructive criticism. So constructive criticism is when people criticize you, but they obviously have got good intentions behind the criticism. So it's not meant to hurt you, it's not meant to damage you. There's no bad intentions behind it. There is good intentions behind it. It's meant to motivate you. It's meant to make you grow more. It's meant to make you improve more, work on your personality more. So that's what's constructive. And lots of people gave me destructive criticism, which hurt me, obviously, because I was so sensitive to criticism and being criticized and abandoned by people. I didn't want people criticizing me. I didn't want people thinking bad things about me. I always wanted to be perfect, and that's what's wrong. Because I wanted to be perfect, I didn't want to be criticized. But years later, as I started improving more and more, and as I got deeper, as I dove deeper into personal development and started to work hard on myself, I realized deep in my heart that criticism is not something you could completely eradicate out of your life. No matter how much you improve, you're gonna improve, you're gonna make money, you're gonna achieve big things in life, you're gonna achieve big success, but you're still gonna be criticized by people, by lots of people. Sometimes you get criticized by close friends and family members because they're used to you being a certain way and they feel threatened by your change. So when you change, they feel absolutely threatened. They don't want you to change. They want you to stay as you are. But sometimes criticizing someone and having a critical attitude towards someone can be absolutely healthy. Because why can it be so healthy? I'm gonna explain why. Because it's meant to motivate you, it's meant to drive you forward, it's meant to make you grow and think bigger, it's meant to point out your flaws. So it's not always a bad thing when you get criticized by people, but it's a bad thing when you make it bad, when you take it too personally, and you can see lots of things out of it and you can improve massively. So I got dried up and I just don't know what to say. I want to continue speaking. I've got much to say, but it just happens to me sometimes. I go blank, I go in my head. So you've got to develop self-trust. You've got to trust yourself. And I'm not saying to trust yourself in an arrogant sense. You don't want to be perfect. You don't want to aspire to be perfect, but you've got to aspire to be good, to improve, to become a much better person, but not perfect. Because when you aspire to be perfect, you are putting too much pressure on yourself. You are becoming somehow of a people pleaser, and you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow with confidence. You're not gonna think healthily if you put too much pressure on yourself. You wanna become perfect. You wanna become the best. You wanna excel at everything. Of course, you can't do that. You can be good, but you can't be perfect, because that's how I was. I'm not being judgmental towards anyone, because I was aspiring to be perfect and it tired me. It got me completely sick and tired of living, because I was always in a sense of I was always competing with other people, so I was absolutely competitive all the time. That's why it tired me, and I didn't enjoy seeking perfection. I didn't want to become a perfectionist deep down, but it was my restless mind was what kept seeking it. And I'm saying about back to the topic of criticism, how criticism damaged me when I was younger, because I was too sensitive to it and I couldn't handle it in a positive way, and I didn't react positively to it. So every time I got criticized, I lashed out at people, and sometimes people who criticized me, I lashed out at them. I hit them. I used violence, because I was an angry person. I was insecure. I was damaged from inside. I didn't know how to deal with being criticized. I thought being criticized is being rejected. That's how my perception was. I didn't know how to deal with it. I couldn't handle it. But nowadays I realize it's not always coming from a bad place. Sometimes it comes from a place of truth. Sometimes it's completely genuine. So it can't be a bad thing every time you get criticized, unless you make it so. So in this video I'm gonna stop, and there's gonna be more videos in which I'm gonna dive deeper into criticism. I'm gonna talk more about criticism, and I'm gonna be explaining more things about it, because I got dried up now. I can't continue speaking, but I think I've spoken enough, and I've gave so much feedback regarding criticism. I gave enough feedback, so I'm gonna be talking more about it in my other videos. So have a nice day. See you later.